don't want to lay back because I look like Jabba the Hutt.
We're gonna do a group hand. We're gonna do a group hand clap and then say Codgers Corner. It's time for Codgers Corner.
Codgers Corner.
Yeah.
Little slide whistle.
Well, welcome to the first of what I hope to be quite a few videos of what I like to call Codgers Corner. We're gonna explore some of what Eric likes to call Codger blends.
That's not me.
Yeah, you're the first one I've ever heard call them that.
I think everybody really calls them. A lot of people call them Codger
Yeah.
blends.
Okay.
Over the counter blends.
Over the counter blends.
Yeah. So some of these blends I think are underrated and are worth exploring. So we got a couple of folks from the Furniture City Pipe Soceity here. Just go around the circle and introduce yourselves.
I'm Eric.
I'm Steve, also known as Lefty68 on YouTube.
I'm Brendan. I'm not really known as anything on YouTube.
I'm Cody, and I think I'm the farthest thing from a codger here.
Probably. Yeah, you're the young end of the
So
group.
my input's going to be a little skewed.
Probably.
Maybe a different
So-
angle.
Different angle.
Today we're going to review Captain Black Royal. I recently acquired this when I went on a trip and forgot all my pipes on the trip. So decided to go to a little kind of Admiral Tobacco and found that there, and you know what, I'll give it a shot. So we'll see how it goes.
And you have to know that between the four of us, we probably have 20 pounds of tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not like this is an everyday thing, but I think every pipe smoker has that moment where they go, oh my gosh, I forgot my tobacco. I've got to get something.
Happens to everybody.
Yeah. So thanks to a gracious gift here, we are going to be pairing it with Macallan.
McAllen 12.
Hey, Rutherford.
This is Rutherford.
Mm-hmm.
He's the star of my channel, Lefty68.
Mm-hmm.
Shameless
So-
self-promotion.
Well, you only have one
Video. Yep. That's why I'm famous.
Mm-hmm. So, well,
I'm going to do something real quick. I think this will help with what we're doing here. I'm going to dial up tobacco reviews real quick and just read off what they
Yeah.
say about this blend. Captain Black.
You just wanted to show your ass in the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everybody
I mean-
wants to see it.
it's for the ladies. Yeah.
This tobacco is for the ladies.
Yes.
Captain Black for a reason.
Ribbon cut, Cavendish, primarily.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I've had that pouch open for about 3 or 4 weeks now, and it is still very moist. So, propylene glycol is a hell of a drug. So, we'll light them up here.
Okay, here we go. Captain Black Royal, brand Lane Limited. Manufactured by Lane Limited. Blend type is an aromatic. Contents: black Cavendish, Cavendish. The flavoring is alcohol, liquor, caramel, molasses, sugar, vanilla. It's a ribbon cut. It comes in either a 1.5 ounce pouch or a 12 ounce tin. You can buy it from all the online retailers, or you can buy it, more importantly, maybe from some of your local tobacconists, your brick and mortars, even your drugstores. Some of them have it. A couple of them still, anyway. Not many,
Yeah.
but
Most of them have pansied out and stopped selling tobacco, but
now it says here the strength is mild, the flavoring is mild to medium, the taste is mild, and the room note is very pleasant.
Yeah, I'll admit opening it from the pouch had a great smell right off the bat. I kind of had my reservations about it, but first puff's not too bad, and yeah, even just right off, I can't say tin note because it's not really a tin note. The pouch
Yeah.
note was very pleasant.
mm-hmm. So far it's kind of typical topped Cavendish.
What was the last thing we smoked? The Captain Black Grape.
Yep.
And to me, that was like, it was almost like hookah tobacco. Like you could inhale it, and it was like totally non-offensive.
Yeah.
They say that the Captain Black Gold is even lighter than this.
Question.
A lot of the reviewers say that it has a tendency to bite if you smoke it too fast, and that kind of makes sense with the quality of the tobacco. And
And if it's a little wet, which this is a little moist, and it's, I mean, obviously the topping on it's probably partly to do with that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I tend to like to smoke my tobaccos a little bit dry, maybe drier than some people, but that seems to help eliminate that tongue bite for me, especially when you're talking about a Virginia tobacco or something that's got a lot of sugar content in it or an aromatic.
Yeah.
That if you smoke it really wet, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get tongue bit, and that turns a lot of new smokers off. The first time I bought tobacco, it was Captain Black, the original white pouch, and I didn't know what I was doing. I packed the pipe way too tight. I puffed it really hard, and I burnt my tongue pretty badly, and it turned me off to smoking a pipe for quite a while. But I kept at it and learned over the years, and it's really helped to develop some of those mindsets that there's things that I can do to help reduce things like tongue bite. So.
As I'm smoking, especially in the retro here, I'm getting a nice warm molasses caramel.
it's definitely more complex than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these over-the-counter blends get panned by most legitimate pipe smokers. It's kind of a weird phenomenon because they are relatively expensive now when you compare them to any of the bulk blends that are on the market. But I mean, what's a pouch like this cost?
That was like $8, $9
for an ounce and a half.
Dogs can't smoke tobacco, brother.
I do know that when Captain Black originally came out, the owner of Lane actually thought that they were bad tobaccos. Like, he had said that on a number of occasions, that he thought they were just really subpar tobaccos.
Yeah, and we're definitely not talking the highest of quality tobaccos. It's clearly not the best. Like the top shelf leaf.
Well, you can only demand from a tobacco what it's able to give you. And I think for me, the question with these over-the-counter blends is, are they able to satisfy that when you're in that moment where you need a tobacco and you've got to get something and you don't have a lot of options?
Yeah,
Especially if you're someplace where you like you said earlier about before we started the video about going someplace and all of a sudden realizing you forgot your pipes, your tobacco, you were in a hurry to leave, or you're excited about where you're going, and you could stop by a little store someplace, or it's a tobacco retailer, and maybe they don't necessarily deal in pipes, but they'll always have a corn cob laying around, and they'll have some an over-the-counter blend like this.
Yeah, and you this is definitely a better option than. I know, sometimes you go to those places like those Admiral Tobaccos or the, equivalent level shops that have stuff that's labeled as pipe tobacco, like Largo or Gambler, and this is going to be, this is leagues ahead of that kind of stuff, and that kind of stuff I'd go without rather than smoke.
So the folks who might not know, why would someone call this a Codger blend? Like, what's the characteristics there?
Who smoked them? Typically, people who smoked Captain Black smoked one blend. They typically did it when they were working or when they were occupying their time and they wanted something in their mouth. They typically smoked 7, 8, 10, 15 bowls a day. Whereas now tobaccos are more of kind of an entree of like foods where you have kind of delicacies of different places. These were definitely a warm, tried and true, they're always going to be with me kind of blends.
Yeah.
And they're made and they're designed for people of a previous generation, I would think.
Yeah, most of these, what we would call Codger blends, are going to be pretty heavily topped, although there are a few exceptions. They're going to be, there's a lot of them are Cavendish based. So they're going to have a sweet room note, warm, sweet flavor. They're not going to be typically have any of those like flavored tobaccos like Latakia or Perique. It's going to be, they're going to be easier smoking tobaccos.
That kind of keeps the cost down too, wouldn't you think? Without having like Latakia or Perique or kind of harder to source leaves, that keeps the price down too.
Well, you would think, but again, a lot of these are coming up $8-9 a pouch, and that works out to, I don't know, I don't do math, like $6-7 an ounce.
I will say that there's a nice kind of vanilla caramel flavor. I do taste the chemical toppings that they've used. There's definitely like a chemical taste, but it's not bad.
I could see where it would be off-putting for someone who's more of a straight burley type of a person, or a Virginia lover, or someone that likes an English blend that's not flavored like this. I like it. I mean, it's. I don't think it's an everyday smoke for me, but I could smoke this once in a while. It's not biting my tongue.
Which I expected.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of heavily topped aromatics that I smoke, every now and again, I'll get that like right off the bat. And even like the next day, my mouth will just feel like
Shoe leather?
shoe leather.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
It's a weird phenomenon that most people who get into pipe smoking start off with the blends that are going to bite them the hardest.
Yep. Well, a lot of people are going for the room note. They're going for the smell. They want to smoke around people that are typically not smokers. They don't want to turn them off so much. It's easier to be around people smoking a pipe when you're smoking something that's got a little sweet smell to it, something that's got a nice aroma that people won't necessarily turn their nose up to.
Something I'm intrigued by, and Eric made mention this before we started rolling, is that this tobacco seems to keep itself lit very easily, which is kind of counterintuitive to the wetness of the tobacco. Like I pulled it out and it was really sticky and had a lot of that propylene glycol, and I was like, this is going to be kind of a pain in the butt to keep lit, but as I'm puffing it, great, I have no trouble pulling on it.
And it helps not to pack it super tight.
Yeah.
A lot of people make the mistake of just cramming as much as they can in the pipe.
Yeah.
And then you have to draw really hard, and the moisture really comes through more. If you get some air spaces a little bit between the strands of tobacco, it tends to help dry it out a little bit, I think, while you're smoking. And this isn't super wet to me. I mean, it was wet in the pouch, but it's not smoking as wet. Also, I'm using a balsa filter in here, which helps remove some of the moisture. That's one of the tricks that I use when I use a cob like this with a filter.
Something that Eric had said, and I think I'm confirming this. He had said that a lot of people that smoke this blend say it smokes terrible out of a briar, but great out of a cob. And I actually, last time I smoked this, I smoked it out of a briar. And I got a lot of that cardboardy flavor that I didn't like. But I'm smoking this out of my Missouri Meerschaum little taster cob that I smoked my, something I don't know if I'm gonna like out of yet. It's my small little bowl.
Shout out to Missouri Meerschaum.
Oh heck yeah!
3 out of 4 pipes here.
Love them.
Oh,
pipes.
Yeah.
Whoops. Sorry, Phil.
It's all right. We'll punish him later for it. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot more out of the cob than I was out of my briar.
Yep, I'd agree.
And, as a tobacconist, I think about weird things, and one of the things I've always thought about with these very easily accessible blends is maybe that there's an addition of some sort of burn accelerant in them, where they purposely will add something to keep it lit for the enjoyment of the pipe smoker. So like the new pipe smoker who doesn't know a thing about how to keep a pipe packed and lit. It's like a training wheel, right? Where they've got to. Now I don't know if that is actually true or not, but I've smoked some of these before where it's like I set my pipe down and 10 minutes later it's still going.
Yeah, right.
And particularly, like you said, Cody, is how wet it is, and yet it still manages to keep lit. It's so easy.
Yeah. When I packed this bowl, I didn't do like the 3-pinch thing that I typically do. I just kind of scooped it, put my pipe right in the bag, scooped it.
Codger style.
Codger style right there.
You are a codger. You
And
don't even know it.
I just packed the top tight to keep a good top light going and still cruising. Seemed to work for me pretty good.
So,
But I will say, like, smoking this, I could, if I was smoking this in a briar, I could definitely tell it probably ghosted pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of artificial flavors going on, which isn't bad. It's just, that's just what we kind of knew what we were getting into smoking this. So I picked this poker here, this corncob poker, because I knew it wouldn't ghost. But yeah, I could tell if you smoked a lot of this out of a briar, you're going to taste it for a while.
Yeah, an interesting exercise might be to compare the 4 or 5 main Captain Black blends with the McBaron equivalents, where they tried to make a comparable blend to the Captain Blacks. And of course, McBaron is known for their higher quality tobaccos than Captain
is
Black.
that the 7 Seas line?
The 7 Seas line.
Yeah, that'd be a really interesting thing to do. I think it might be a good thing in the future. So, well, we want to try to keep these videos relatively short. So, any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Am I the only one here? Maybe I am. It seems like when I smoke an aromatic like this, and even this one right now, the farther I get down the bowl, the flavoring starts to diminish. It's like some of that burns off, and I start to get more down to just not a base tobacco flavor, but that flavoring kind of fades a little bit.
I don't taste much tobacco.
Yeah, really.
I don't think
have
there is
flavoring.
much. I mean, much you can taste tobacco-wise. I mean,
Well, you know,
it's
that's
just,
typical
it's
with
just
the cabinet.
mellowing out to me, like where I don't taste as much. It's starting to taste kind of not like nothing, but like nothing.
I would also say it's pairing pretty well with this Macallan. You know, I mean, as well as to be expected, I think.
I think Macallan's the bacon of Scott.
Yeah.
It makes everything better. I don't know about that.
Any final thoughts, Cody?
It's more enjoyable than I expected. It's probably, if I had to compare it to something else, it's a notch down. It's like 1Q, but with more artificial flavors, less tobacco flavor. I enjoy it. I mean, I don't know if I'd go out and buy one, but if I was in a pinch, I would pick it up.
That'd probably be about it.
Yeah.
If it
Enjoyable
was,
smoke, yeah.
I was, in a pinch. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would buy this personally.
Yeah.
Nothing against Captain Black. It's just that there are a lot of other things that I like better. So,
Yeah.
My first bowl of tobacco I learned from a guy called Fire Crotch in
Love it.
college, and gosh, that was 2002.
that's a whole other video, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to
And-
tell us that story.
Smoking this actually brings me back, which is a crazy thing to say, to those days where I had that one blend, and it was renamed 1Q. Actually, I found out much later. But I'm getting all those memories, that come back with taste.
Well, and I think that that's one thing I'd like to emphasize with these videos is the human aspect of pipe smoking. We just gathered here at Steve's house, and we had some food, some good time, and then we're recording a video. It's just, 4 friends that care a lot about each other and are bonded over this hobby of pipe smoking and just sharing our memories, sharing our lives, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I think anybody interested in getting into pipe smoking, that would be what I emphasize most, is do it with people. Enjoy community with it.
And dare I say, if you are going to start getting into pipe tobacco, this might be a good starting point.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you get all the familiar characteristics of an aromatic that beginner pipe smokers will get into. Like, it's a familiar flavor, a vanilla, something sweet. They can relate to it. It burns easy. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of tongue bite, and it's easy to smoke. I think this would be a great starter tobacco for someone hopping in the hobby if they wanted to try something.
And if you're an expert pipe smoker and have many years of seasoned experience, and you want to figure out how this stuff tastes at full blast, you should come down to Washington, Missouri on the weekend of October 11th and 12th, 2019, where we are having a fast smoke competition at Missouri Meerschaum with Captain Black Grape.
Yep, just, for more details, you could we'll post a link below to the website. Sign up. It's going to be a great time. Missouri Meerschaum, they're celebrating the 150th anniversary this year, and they've graciously worked with us for years with these fast smokes. So, thank you, gentlemen, for getting together, and
Absolutely.
thank you for hosting, Steve, and
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
thank you for watching.
Balls.
Fired for